The lateral line is proudly partnered with Vertex Lubricants.
There is going to be no prizes given for guessing who it was that chose the material to cover the seats in our boat. We have had Roger from Dr. Trim right here in hometown Morrinsville lined up to do the upholstery work in our boat since day number one. When Milan first told me that he was trying to find rainbow coloured material to cover the swabs in our boat, I was, as you say, a little bit concerned. But Milan has always been in charge of all of the colour schemes, designs of our boats. And if I'm being perfectly fair, our boats in the past have always looked the part. The matte black hull and those faint fish designs really match up well with the matte black look of the new Suzukis. And the U-deck has fitted in with that design perfectly, I reckon. Altogether it looks pretty subtle and bland, but at the same time it's looking sharp and sleek. Then there comes the seat material. I want to say that the boat needed a splash of colour, a splash of Milan, but I think that's wrong. I'm sure that the swabs and overall the boat would have looked good with a whole bunch of different designs and colours. So I guess the easy answer is that it just seems to work. It's definitely not for everyone, that's for sure, because it is crazy, but it seems to be the right amount of crazy. And really, if you knew Milan at all, then you would understand perfectly well that there was always gonna be a splash of colour somewhere on his dream boat. And guess what? I actually like it. Now, after spending our fair share of time in boats completely exposed to the elements, it's important to me to get shade on a hot summer's day and to block the wind and rain if we find ourselves caught out. I've always had it in my head that if we got our dream machine having a huge casting deck on the front of it, then my thoughts were to build some kind of pop-up tent system to cover the boat. First off, Milan and Dane were not keen on my tent idea at all. But over time, NATO got through. And after talking to Roger about my pop-up tent idea, he was super keen to build it as it was something that he'd never done before. And not only was Roger keen, but he improved my pretty straightforward concept to provide shelter by breaking it down into usable parts. First part would be to provide shelter from the sun, giving shade, but at the same time not limiting the boat's fishability, so basically meaning you can get to the casting deck and the back of the boat with not too much trouble. The second part would zip onto the first part, and that would provide enough shelter to protect you from wind and rain. And lastly, a zip-in bottom to the piece that's over the casting deck, which ultimately would create a tent, thus transforming the casting platform into a guest bedroom, with more than enough room to pump up a reasonable sized airbed. And yes, NATO handpicked the material for the tent all by himself. I like camo.
The lateral line is proudly partnered with Vertex Lubricants.